Yeah, welcome back to my class again today. We are still on namespace. So today we are going to round up everything about namespace. Now, I told you in my last class that Python actually has two functions that it uses to access the values of the namespace, which is what? The local function and the global function. So that is what I want to actually show you today, and then show you how to access the values of those objects. So we have this local function, and then we have the global function. So these are two functions in Python that the namespace actually use, because the namespace is actually returns a dictionary, which is, I told you, you declare a variable and you say 10. Now the namespace is going to return this as this, right? Now, this is the value, and then this is the key. So this is key value, key value. Now, this value is inside the memory, right? 10. Let's say this is the address, and then you are assigning this. A is pointing to this. Now, what I didn't tell you in the last class is this. Let me just quickly draw something on the board. Now, you have this, you have this, you have this, and then this is this. This is the hard disk, or SSD. Then you have the memory, you have the processor, then you have the screen. Now it goes this way, right? But it's more complex than this. But this is how it works. Every time you launch a program, so let's say you open your laptop and then you open Microsoft Word document. Now that your application has to be loaded into this memory before the processor will now go into this memory to collect the data and the instruction that is going to work on. If there is a need to push the output to the screen, then you will see it on the screen. If there is no need, then you will not see it on the screen. It will actually finish the process and sometimes take it back to the memory, right? This is how the computer system works. It's more complex than this, but I just had to do this to continue my process of namespace. Now, I am going to write another program again. Say A, assign 10 to it, B, assigned 20 to it, and this time I'm going to define another function. So in this function, def, uh, let's just call it my function, right? And then nothing is being supplied. So inside this my function, what do I want to do? I just need to print out some things. So I'll say A, here I'll put 30, and then B, I'll put 40. Now I come here and I say print, right? Inside this, I want to access this value, but I'm inside the function. I want to access this value. Now, what do? I will have to use this guy, global function and the local function. These are the two functions that Python provide to enable you to access um, the values of this variable in the memory. So how are you going to do this? I am inside the function, but I want to access this 10 inside this function. So I'm going to call this globals. Now, inside the dictionary, I can use the get method. So this is a get method, right? Inside the dictionary. Because in order to access the object of this namespace, it will be namespace dot object, right? Now, this namespace has two functions that allows me to access the object. So this is the function, which is the global function, and then dot get. Now inside this, I will now call this. Now this one, then this one I will say print locals dot get a. Then I will say return. Now, if I call this function here, I say my function. I'm calling the function. So it will go here, then it will go in, it will declare this variable and assign 30 to it, declare this variable and assign 40 to it, then it will carry out this instruction, print globals dot get a. This a, because of this global is here, so this a will be this one. Why this one? The a will be this one. So this one will give me 10. Why this one will give me 30. This will be my output that I will have on the screen. I will have this on the screen. The global dot get a will give me this one, while this one will give me this one. Right? So that is the context within which you are using this. All right, so let's practicalize what I taught you in the class. Now, still on this, we are going to use the same concept. So I'm going to declare the variable again, a, assign 10 to it, b, assign 20 to it, and then I'm going to declare I'm going to define the function def my function. Nothing is supplied. Then I go in. Then I declare another variable inside, and I assign 30 to this one. I declare another variable called b, and I assign 40 to this. Now, I told you the global function and the local function. So I'm going to say print, then I will call that global function, globals function. Then I will call the get method. I will call the get method, and I will supply the value of a. So this a now will be this out1 because of this global function. So I will come here and I will say print, and I will call the local function, and then I will call the get method, and I will assign the value of, I will assign a to it. All right, then I will come here and I'll say return. So now I'm going to call the function. So to call the function, I'll say my function. Then this is it. So I'm just going to execute. I can bring this down. So I'm calling the function. I'm going to execute it. So what will this one print? Now let's execute. All right, so you can see print globals dot get a, print locals dot get a. This one is printing 10 because that is the global variable. While this one is printing 30 because that is the local variable inside the function. Now, if I come here, I can equally say print, let's see, print globals. Okay, let me supply a string literal and say globals function. This global function. Then I come here, I say print locals function. All right. So I want it to show me, it's going to display which one is it going to classify as global function and which one is it going to classify it as local. So you're looking at this one is a string literal, so it's going to print this string literal out, and then it will now show me all the variables that are termed as global. So let's execute this. I'm going to call this function again. Now look at it. So the first instruction is print globals.getA. What is the value of A? This one is going to print this A that is outside. This one is going to print this A that is inside. So 10, the first one, second one is 10. Then I want to see all the global functions and all the local functions. So this one is showing me all the local functions. So this is the string literal that is printed. Now these are all the local functions. So move this, all the global functions I mean. So move this towards the end, you will see it. Now look at, it's considering, look at it, A, and then the value of A is 10, which is this one. B, the value of B is 20 because it's returning it as a dictionary, because it's actually a dictionary, the namespace. So it's giving you the key and the value. So 20, right, which is this one, B20, and then the function, which is this, my function. And then this is the value. So it's actually pointing you at the address in the memory. It's pointing you at the address in the memory. So it's considering this A, B, and then this function as the global, the three of them as the global. Why this one, the locals, is pointing at this as the local, this as the local. So A, then you have 10 as for it. So this dictionary value is returning the variable and then the value, the variable and then the value. So you only have two variables that are local, which is this one and this one. So this will help you to see all the local variables and the global variables using this global function and the local function. So that is what I want to demonstrate. Now,